Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Datblock Survival. Today, oh my goodness, we have somebody visiting our base right now and they are invisible. So if you see a floating chicken head just going around or those particles, we're being pranked. Today we are doing something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I think I have ideas for how I'm gonna do it. So, hello, Mr. Invisible Person. Let's get right into it. Do you remember what used to be here? This is one of the first things that we built in this series. I think the first thing we built was the house, and then the second thing we built was that storage room. Everything else, those might have been first. Swear I saw something move in there. Anyways, we took down the Autosmeltery. And there was a couple of reasons why I did it. First of all, I didn't really like the aesthetic of it, just the outside. And the second and probably the most important reason was it wasn't very efficient. We kept having only maybe one furnace light up, or maybe even the second two, because of the way I had the water streams. Hello, Chicken Man. And so I kind of wanted to remake it and make it a little bit better. If we go over to one of my friends' player warps, we built this for him when I was doing an overnight grind, and it so far has been working amazing. So obviously we'll go with a different design because there's no fun in just copying what I've done already. But if we come up here, we can kind of see what we've got going. I know it's a little bit tight. We have the items to be smelted coming up this bubble column, and they jump around a little bit, but eventually they'll come into here and they'll flow across the hopper line right here into the furnaces. And then any items that don't make it into the furnaces in time because of the server plugin, they come up this bubble column and around, and they fall back into this bubble column where they can be swept through again. And that'll keep repeating until all of the items have made it in. Another reason why they may not be going in could be because you're smelting so many items that all 5 slots of the hoppers are filled up, and the spot in the furnace is filled up as well. So it's just going through, but eventually it'll go through the hoppers and into the furnaces. You may notice with this design, I decided to do a vertical loop instead of the horizontal one, which is like what we have in our sugarcane, bamboo, and kelp farm collection system. And that was just to help save space, because in order to have the water flowing over these hoppers, it's kind of hard to stack it when you have the water flowing over the hoppers for the fuel. So I think I'm going to do this design for the smeltery at my player warp, and I've kind of calculated out some space that we're going to need, including space for putting walls around the outside to help decorate it and make it look a little bit nicer. So we'll be doing the same design as here pretty much. And if you come down here, you notice this redstone, which I actually had to break. This is to detect the amount of coal that are in the hoppers. And let's see, can I get down there? Yes, I can. You can see that all of these are full, or nearly full. And that means these are as well. So this will help detect when you're running low on fuel. Once these hoppers start to run low on fuel, these comparators will shut off, which means that this redstone line will also shut off, and now I'm trapped. And if we come over here to the outside, you can see that it goes to those lights. those are just indicators, so every once in a while you can come by and check. If you're smelting large amounts of items, you might blow through that coal pretty quick. And so it's really helpful to have those lights there so you can come by and you can fill the coal input. So basically that's it. We're going to sort of copy this design, but I want to have one line of hoppers and another line. So we're going to have double the amount of the water streams that I showed up there, which might be kind of difficult. They might take up space or interfere with each other, but I think it'll be really efficient. And not only are we doubling the amount of furnaces, we're also going to be using smokers, blast furnaces. What is going on here? I just heard it gassed. Anyways, I just heard it again. I don't know. Getting distracted. We're gonna have blast furnaces. We're gonna have smokers, and we're also gonna have regular furnaces for things that like stone and stuff that we want to smelt through there. So I think this will work out really well. I'm hoping that it'll all fit. I'm a bit worried about the vertical collection system, having it double up for 2 lines of hoppers. But I'm thinking I can kind of do what I did here, but instead of ice on that second row where it comes up and around, I can put hoppers and another line of furnaces. So I think it'll work out, and ours isn't going to be this tall. Don't worry about that. It's only this tall because he wanted the item output down here. And our item output, I'm hoping to put into one single chest because I don't smelt a ton. So I think having it go into one single chest shouldn't be a problem. And what I mean by single chest is one of these double chests. I won't need double chests with hoppers connecting them. I don't think we'll be smelting that much. But if we do, we can always add it, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So I think we'll get right into it. All right, we're back at my player warp, and I've been doing a little bit of thinking off camera, and I was gonna go with a simple, design with just furnaces, and then we'll stack them, and then have the bubble columns right here. But Chicken Man, I had thought I wanted to go more futuristic with this place, at least on the inside, just because the last building was very dark, and I like how this turned out, where it's futuristic on the inside and then the outside is very warm, and it uses a lot of wood, which obviously matches all of the buildings that we have. I had a thought though, instead of having the bubble column be here, I was thinking, why don't we have holes in the floor in front of each of the modules, and then for the fuel, instead of using coal, we have an amazing and absurd amount of bamboo and kelp, but mainly bamboo. What if we use that for our fuel? Because that is renewable and not a lot of people buy the bamboo. So I think it would actually work really well just to have the bamboo come from there into here. Now, I'm not thinking of doing specific transportation for the bamboo all the way to here because that's a big project. I would have to dig out the collection system down below here, rather in here. I would have to dig out the collection system that's running up there, through there, across and up into the shop, and then run it all the way over. I think it would be very tedious, and it wouldn't really pay off that well. Plus, we wouldn't be able to sell it in our shop. So I think it would be better if we just manually put it in. But I think having bamboo as our main source of fuel would be awesome. And obviously I'll run a couple tests just to make sure that it would be efficient to use the bamboo because I was considering doing dried kelp blocks as the fuel. We could dedicate one of the modules to being for making more dried kelp, and then have the output go directly into the fuel line. But I think that would be a little too complicated, and that would also mean that if we wanted to smelt like stone and stuff, that would pop into the fuel line and clog our systems. So we don't want that. But another reason I wanted to do the holes in the floor was when we had the item collection systems on the sides and bubble vaders carrying them up and over, people would sometimes come in and then they'd get stuck, and then obviously they can get out by using my player warp or just going home or whatever, but I kind of wanted to prevent that from happening. This is a safe place here at PW Reno, so we're gonna redesign it. I think I've been doing some thinking about how that's going to work, and I think probably the easiest way, I mean, we'll have, and this isn't set in stone obviously, but we'll have a hole there, and somewhere along here we'll have a hole, and somewhere along here we'll have a hole. And what we'll do is we'll just have an iron trapdoor with a lever, or some kind of lever hidden somewhere where it'll open up the trapdoor, and then we can just chuck our items in there. And I think that would be extremely helpful, and if we're going with the whole futuristic thing, that might match pretty well, because I'm considering doing the black and, sorry, not the black. I'm considering doing the, oh my goodness, hello Mr. Chicken Man. I'm considering doing the white concrete with this trim again, because I really love that design. So we'll see. I'm gonna go off camera a little bit and just kind of play with some ideas to see if this will work, and then I'll bring you back when we're going to start building. Alright guys, I've been doing a little bit of thinking off camera and playing with some designs. You may be wondering why I'm using honey blocks here. It's kind of a strange block to be using, but what I've come up with is over here will be our item drop-off station, and there'll be blocks here, so you don't have to worry about this. And we'll have a lever probably right here where we can just, you know, flick that lever, this will open, and we can just drop our items in. And those items will go through here where we'll have water streams on top of ice leading to a bubble column right here. And you may be wondering why I didn't just bring the bubble column up to this block. And that's because I noticed something when we were building the smeltery at PW Dude. And that was when the furnaces were, when you had more than 8 furnaces, or more than the distance that water can flow, you'd have to do a reset, kind of what we did with the, let's see if we can see it. Yeah, you'd have to do a reset with a slab for the new water stream, and then at the end of the 8 you do it again. And what I found was the items had so much kinetic energy that they would hit the slab and then just stop and fall into one hopper wherever they stopped. And that's kind of a problem when we're trying to do a multi-layer system here. So I thought, what about using something that's less than a block, so that way the items will travel on this edge right here, and they won't lose their momentum by falling in the dip right here, because as you can see right here, hoppers have a little bit of a dip down, and that catches the items and stops their momentum. So I decided to bring the bubble column up here, so that way when the water comes up, it'll land here, well technically here, and then a new water stream will start here going this way, and with it going this way, it'll initially hit this, and that'll push the items against this honey block, and then they'll just follow along, and the hoppers will still pick them up. So that's why I did that. Oops, we lost our soul sand. So I just wanted to show you what I've done so far. We'll copy this design for all the other modules. So that's basically it. I'm just gonna kind of go off camera and finish the hopper lines on that set, and then I'm going to put in the honey blocks on all of them, and then I'm going to figure out how we're going to stack these. And we do have to be careful because there is a limit to how many hoppers you can have per chunk. So I'll have to do some calculations, and I possibly will build the next layer up just to test it, to make sure that it'll work. And if it doesn't, I'll tear it down and we'll just deal with the amount of hoppers that we have here, which is definitely more than enough. So, alright, let me show you guys what I've been doing since we last left off. I put in the ice path that will lead to a bubble column here. We'll have signs here so that way the water from the bubble column doesn't flow past, and the items that are being thrown in to be smelted can still pass through. And what will happen, and I think it's easiest if I come up here, those items will pop up the bubble column. We'll have a new water stream starting right there, which will flow through here, and then we'll have a new water stream starting there onto the slab, which will run to right here, where we will start. We'll put a sign, probably on the glass block instead of the honey, just that way the items can still pass through. I don't think the sign will obstruct that, but just to be safe, we'll do that. And then we'll have a two wide stream going here into a bubble column going right here, which will bring it up. Any items that don't get into the hoppers on the first row will come up and through here, and we'll do the same thing on this top row. And then when they're done, this water stream will carry them into or over this hole. We'll put a sign right there so the water will go all the way against to there, and the items will fall back into the bubble column and reset, and the cycle will repeat. So what I need to do right now is prepare the water, and there's actually one more thing that's kind of a problem that I've been thinking about doing. So we hooked up the output, no problem. It actually worked out that we left these hoppers there, because the output will from the top row will come down into there, so that'll work. The only problem that I'm having is how are we going to fit in the input, because we have this line right here going down for the output, and I could extend it out and bring it down and then back in, but that's, using a lot more hoppers. And the input needs to go in here. And what I think I might do is, we said that the coal input was going to be here or right there, and I think for now I'll put it right here because that'll be where I'm using coal the most, or whatever our fuel is, I guess. And then we'll run it up, and somehow we have to get it so that way the items will push against the honey blocks that I'm going to put there. And let's see if we can demonstrate this quick. Yep, so we'll come, oh, this is tight. If we were to just come up here, we will put honey blocks here instead of glass, and I just broke a honey block. Grab those quick before they go into the system. Before we get this thing up and running, we'll have to check all the hoppers just to make sure that we didn't get any blocks in there, because that'll clog the system and just cause a whole bunch of headaches. So anyways, we'll have probably, I'm thinking, the item input right here, or maybe even here, so that way it can flow into a bubble column that we will have right here. And the reason I'm not doing it where the scaffolding is is because I want the water stream to push them up against, in fact, this should be honey as well. Push them up against the honey block so that way they'll ride on top of the hoppers like I described earlier. And then, see, this is where I'm getting stuck. How do we get the coal or the fuel up to the second level? We're kind of stuck here because we have this line coming in for our output. So I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to do this. This will have to be something that I think about. And I'm probably not going to finish this project today just because it's a pretty big project and it's using a lot of resources, and I still need to think about how I'm actually going to do this. So let's try and get as much as we can done today. I made an oopsie. I thought I thought that this would be the coal input, but I forgot that the items go in through the downward facing hoppers right here into the top of the furnace. So this is now our item input, and these are our fuel inputs that we'll put on each side. Well, not there, these two sides, which is, it's okay. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. And we're going to have, I'm going to push this one back. In fact, let's do that right now. And put this there. That'll work. So that way we can put the other one starting right here, going that way for the item input for those. But I've tested it out. The items do flow all the way across. This design isn't a problem, and they do come up. Let's see if we can force it. Get down there, come on. There you go. The items will go up. We don't have a roof on it yet, so these are going everywhere. But they will come up and they will come down. Now, where is that ice? Come on. Where are you? We don't want it clogging the system, that's why I want to pull it out now. Where did it go? There it is on the first one. But it does work. And this design with where we don't have the water on top of the slabs is fine. And I wish I knew that before I did this mess back here, which I actually just forgot to put the water in. But that's okay. It had to be spaced out anyways to give room for the hoppers, because if we had the hoppers down one more level, they would interfere. And well, we wouldn't be able to have the water in the front because we need the output hoppers, we need the furnace right on top, and then these pointing in the back. So it worked out. I'm not too worried about the water back here. I'm sure it'll work. But we need to think about what we're doing. We know that we're doing this same design over here, and I'm not going to make you guys watch that. I'll work on that and have it done for the next episode. But we still need to do something with this system right here. We know that we want 2 layers, again, like what we have here, and we're going to make sure that it's parallel with these blast furnaces, so we'll bring it around. We need items to have a way in to be smelted, and the coal will just have something manual in the back, or maybe we'll build something in the center just for that one, which I actually think might look cool if we just had like a pillar. Probably not though, because I don't want people just throwing random items in and clogging our system up. That would not be ideal. So I need to think about that, and I'll bring you guys back when I have an idea for that side, and then this one I'll do in between episodes and have it done for the next episode, where we'll be doing the design of the interior and the exterior. You know what, I'm going to take back what I said earlier about having 2 rows of furnaces in the center. I think I'm going to do that next episode because I need to build this on that side as well. And then we can kind of figure out what kind of room we're dealing with this system. Alright, so I think the best way to end this episode is to see how our villagers are doing. I have been working on breeding them up. And if you remember, I think we had like 8 villagers, which is not a lot. We need, I think it was around 80 villagers total. So we're 1/10 of the way there. And I've been breeding them up. And let's see how many we've got. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. None over there. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. I'm assuming that I counted that right. It's kind of hard to tell when there's so many, but we'll just give them some food. Come on, guys, pick it up. There you go. Oh, we got some hearts going on over there. We'll see if we get something out of that. And feed them. You guys can pick that up. There you go. You protect them, you hear me? PETA is not allowed to steal these. Yes, stand on alert. Yes, you. Protect them at all costs. Okay, yes, go to work. And on that note, I think it's time to say goodbye. I hope you guys enjoyed. We did some awesome building today. It was a bit tricky doing that, the water streams and the hoppers and everything for the Autosmeltery, but we figured it out. And next episode, I promise, I will have the other 2 sections done. And then we can focus on the interior and the exterior and making a roof.